Koiari Landowners want response to petition before APEC week. Personnel management to monitor agency heads' performances. And it's oil palm versus cocoa in Pomio.
This is National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Tuesday's news. The Department of Personnel Management has initiated a new reform system to manage the performance of all departmental and agency heads. Department of Personnel Management Minister Elias Kapavore made this announcement in a reform awareness workshop hosted by his department in Port Moresby. He said it is required under the Constitution that every public servant's performance is monitored.
In the workshop today, departmental heads from national and district level were educated on new reform systems. A new reform system called the Performance Management System is a form that the agency heads must fill when they take up their position. Personnel Management Minister Elias Kapavore says under this system, the Secretary for Personnel Management will be responsible to monitor the performances of the agency heads. The system will also help monitor their movement and the use of government vehicles to make sure they are at the right place at the right time. The minister said the PMS form is a must and must be done twice every year, and they will also launch an online monitoring system.
We'd like to take it further down to the district level, making sure that I also track the performance of my district CEO with regard to implementation of the DDA board resolutions. And the presidents of the LLCs can also track the performance of their respective LLC managers by also tracking their ward resolutions at the respective LLC levels. So in other words, it's an accountability form. Performance management system is an accountability form. It's all linked to departmental heads, the managers of all levels becoming responsible, becoming accountable. So whatever that they receive from the government must be recorded, must be monitored, so it achieves a result and make an impact to the lives of the citizens of our country.
The minister said when monitoring the performance of everyone, it is also time to build capacity in all levels of the government and making strategies for the future. The department is also running short courses in district level to get people equipped to take up management and leadership roles.
Non-performance by any departmental head, non-performance by any PAs is a serious matter, is a serious disciplinary offense. And it's not about somebody being appointed and continue to stay on for the next 4 or 5 years term, but their continuation in terms of performance in those respective positions are based or determined by their performance. If they don't perform, they are given notice and they go. If they continue to perform, they can continue to stay. So that's how serious the form is. And I want to say that we are fully supporting this form, and we need to make sure that our departmental heads are accountable.
The awareness workshop today was to make them aware of some of the new reforms the government is taking, and also to make them aware of their contractual obligations as the head of their respective organization. Rayon Lakingu, National EMTV News.
The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees is appealing to the Australian government to take urgent action and evacuate refugees and asylum seekers in Papua New Guinea and Nauru. In a statement released today, UNHCR says there is immediate and critical risk if this action is still not taken. According to the Refugee Agency, the evacuation of refugees and asylum seekers from Papua New Guinea and Nauru to Australia does not require legislative change. This follows an increase in deaths, abuse, and their deteriorating health. There are 650 asylum seekers currently held in Papua New Guinea by government authorities. The announcement by government authorities about the relocation of Cordova Islanders has been opposed. Cordova Ward Councillor Stanley Moran says the islanders met and have agreed to remain at Dandan. 4 main reasons were given, among them their sustainability next to fishing grounds. The other reason is that their children's education has been disrupted for almost 11 months. The affected islanders want the government to pay Dandan landowners and let them rebuild their lives. However, UEC MP and Intergovernment Relations Minister Kevin Isifu says Dandan is not suitable for permanent resettlement. The Australasian Law Reform Agency's biannual conference began today in Port Moresby. Legal experts from 5 countries within the Australasian region are here until Thursday to examine a wide range of interesting topics with reference to the theme, Law in the Digitized World. Important topics discussed will include legal developments in e-commerce law, state of the law in e-health, cybercrime, the governance of internet law, and social media platforms. Resource owners of the main water supply that also generates power for the nation's capital are calling on the government to respond to a petition presented to them in March this year. The 5 landowner areas consisting of Sirinumu, Sogeri Central, Hogeri, Rona and Behori are petitioning the government regarding a non-payment of 40 million kina as part of a sustainable and benefit-sharing package that was allocated by the government for affected areas.
The frustration was quite clear amongst the Koiari landowners who had gathered to air their views. The petition from the Koiari Resource Landowner Working Committee detailed the benefits that had not been given over 5 generations. This includes resettlement payments during the building of Sirinumu Dam by PNG Power, outstanding payments of 14 million kina, and lack of government services in the area.
If you see gold, if you see petrol, gas, oil, those resources, it can run at any time, it can finish at any time, due to how many days of years of operation. But water is an unrenewable resources. Can government look at the value of water comparing to gold and copper and oil and gas? Is it the similar value like gold and copper? No. It has to be valued in that way. It has to be valued in that way.
Most don't have access to water or electricity. The chairman of the 5 affected areas demanded the government meet with them and settle the issue before the hosting of APEC. They complained that if the government has time for non-renewable resources like oil, gas and gold, they should at least pay attention to the water resource owners as well.
Toilet, you wash under the shower while my mothers, my aunties are laboring to carry water from the creek right up to the even a little request for them to come courteously to be amongst us for just half an hour. Goodness me, they can get a jet to fly across to the regions of the Highlands, and they can have the money to buy Maseratis for the APEC meeting. Don't take us wrong, we are all for the benefit of the APEC. But before that, before it happens, we'll have to address our contentious issues, which has been here for the last 50 years.
People are giving the Honorable Warren Murray, Trade and Commerce Minister, on the 31st of March this year. That recently was delivered on 9th of this month. Government, I'm going to work you something good. Oil by finish, gas by finish. But you go flush in toilet, but you wash long. Oil.
Adelaide Kari, National MTV News.
You're with the National MTV News this Tuesday. We go for a break and be back with more after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. The opposition's call for a nationwide boycott this Friday has hit the headlines over the past week with varying views from both sides of politics. Today, opposition MP Brian Kramer spoke to MTV News about the approach taken by the opposition, which he said was being done in response to several decisions involving what many are referring to as extravagant spending for APEC. MTV News grilled the Madang MP on what they realistically hope to achieve.
These vehicles were purchased from a spare parts dealer.
Speaking to MTV News today, Madang MP Brian Kramer explained the reasons for the parliamentary opposition's call for a nationwide boycott. According to Mr. Kramer, recent decisions by the government on spending on APEC-related items at the cost of essential service delivery was a big factor in the opposition's call for action this Friday, adding that the opposition was now better organized and a stronger force.
In the past, members of the public, like students and the other, I think, health officers, doctors, and also the pilots initiated. This was back, they foretold where things would go for PNG. This is the first litmus test with Papua New Guineans. We all know that we are slow starters, but once we get going, it's very difficult to stop us. I'm quite confident in terms, I don't expect the entire country to weigh in, but I expect now to get the ball rolling.
Mr. Kramer adds that the opposition had called for answers from government and related agencies in regards to the perceived lavish spending, but had not received any favorable response.
We've asked for answers. It's clear when you have a corrupt system, people don't give you answers. Corruption operates in secrecy. That is basically the culture that it operates in. So we asked for answers, no answers were provided. We've asked for budgets, no budgets, information provided.
The decision calling for a boycott this Friday has been received with mixed reactions, with one main union, the PNG Teachers Association, distancing itself from the planned boycott. However, Mr. Kramer has brushed aside this call from the PNGTA, calling instead for the executives of this union to listen to its members who have been treated unfairly in recent times.
So I have little trust, confidence in a few union workers, union leaders. To be honest, the degree of corruption that's going on, they've been silent. Welfare of teachers, they've been silent. And even the issue to do with the teachers' pay rise.
Kramer has also reiterated that the opposition's call is for a nationwide boycott and not industrial action.
This is not a strike action, so to speak, where you need to go and consult your union. Ask your boss to take a day off on Friday, take it out of your annual leave or your sick leave, and stay home and spend time with your kids, because it's their future that we are now talking about.
The chair of the Central Supply and Tenders Board says all assets acquired by the government for APEC will be disposed of by formal public tender. Dr. Ken Nangan, who is also Secretary for Finance, in a statement late this afternoon, explained the processes and standard procedures that will be followed in disposing of assets acquired by the government for the purposes of APEC. This follows public discussion in recent days regarding plans and processes for disposal of a range of assets acquired. According to Dr. Nangan, the tender process will be an open, public process managed by the Central Supply and Tenders Board and completely transparent in its operation, adding that any assets acquired from overseas for APEC that may have been imported free of normal duties, fees or taxes will be fully dutiable or taxable in the hands of any person or persons acquiring assets following the public tender process. More than 30,000 kina worth of cash and items were stolen following a break-and-enter incident in one of the shops in Madang yesterday. Provincial Police Commander Chief Inspector Ben Neneo says 4 suspects cut open the back fence and gained access into the shop. Neneo says the security guards stationed at the shop apprehended 3 of the criminals, with 1 getting away.
From police reports, 4 suspects armed with a factory-made pistol and other items used as weapons broke into the shop through the back. The criminals ransacked the shop, stealing 23,000 kina in cash, including other items like phones and flex cards worth thousands of kina. Security guards stationed at the shop managed to catch 3 suspects, while 1 got away. Police have not ruled out the possibility of an inside job and will be questioning employees and security guards. 3 of the suspects caught were badly beaten and taken to Modilon General Hospital. According to police, 1 of the suspects is still in hospital, while the other 2 are now at Beyond Jail. Police have yet to recover the money and the items stolen as the investigation continues. Provincial Police Commander Chief Inspector Ben Neneo is appealing to the general public with vital information to come forward and assist police curb crime. The PPC warned criminals to refrain from committing criminal activities as they will be dealt with by the law if caught. Masaluwis, National EMTV News, Madang.
Anglica's Begabari Clinic will now be part of the National Capital District Health Services Division. This follows the signing of a memorandum of agreement by Health Secretary Pasco Kase, Anglican Archbishop Alan Miggy, and NCD Health Acting Health Advisor Dr. Jerry Tanome. The MOA will see the transition of financial responsibilities to NCD Health. This is also NCD Health's plan to expand primary health care services. The Australian government has been working with Anglicare over the past year to prepare the handover. Adventist-run school Car Memorial is set to undergo a major facelift. Board Chairman Andrew Solomon says the school administration and board are working to secure funds to see the school build new facilities for students and teachers. Mr. Solomon says once work is completed, the school will see an increase in enrollment with Christian education the focus.
Speaking to EMTV News, Chairman Solomon says the school has grown from strength to strength in terms of capacity building. But like other schools in the city, high demand enrollment is not catered for by the current facilities. Solomon says the new development is targeted at the cost of 15 million kina.
We are putting a plan in place that will cost us about 15 million kina. And that's a lot of money for a school, a primary school can do it. But the fact of the matter is that this school, Car Memorial Adventist School, is the biggest school in the Adventist network of the South Pacific Division of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
But the Adventist-run school is currently under the government system. A working committee is receiving help from the Works Department to design classrooms, new learning materials and teachers' accommodation. All these are in the process of being finalized. The school chairman says this will be a major facelift for the school.
We'll be building the teachers' houses, we'll be building the classrooms, we'll be building the multi-purpose hall, we'll be building a lot of things, and hopefully we might ask the mission to come out from the unified system, and we will be moving alongside under the mission.
CAR was recently accredited by the Adventist Mission. The school principal says this is a blessing to the school and its stakeholders.
The school has met the criteria that was looking for the standard of the Adventist education. And with the report, Car Memorial School received 5 stars.
Going forward, the school board and administration says Christian education will remain the first subject to guide students in the education attainment.
And realigning them with the school rules that is set by the board, set by the mission, and set by the school admin, and also for the school to follow. These are simple basics that students must follow and be abide by the rule in order for them to do well.
Jack Lapava Jr., National, EMTV News.
Over 1,000 prisoners from Pomio jail in Lae began their registration for new NID cards and birth certificates. 50 were registered today. Women prisoners and the babies will also be registered tomorrow. 21 other prisoners who were trained by the NID office in Lae last month assisted the prisoners to fill in their forms. Julie Badwe-Owa with this report.
These are low-risk prisoners from Pomio jail who got registered this morning. They have filled in the forms and were witnessed by the CS officer. So far, 50 prisoners were registered today. 1,050 prisoners are expected to be registered by Friday this week. The NID team leader Ronald Wolfe said the prisoners who were trained last month to fill in the NID forms have assisted the prisoners well in filling their forms.
All the forms only filling in also the tribe, clan, village law, province law, all the filling through so normal man outside.
The NID rollout at Pomio CS in Lae began with the CS officers and their families. This follows the government's call to have all public servants be registered with NID cards by December this year. This is done through the arrangement of different registration teams into different sectors. Last week, some PNG-DF officers at Igam Barracks in Lae with their families got registered. The NID officers based in Lae will complete the registration there once they complete registering here at Pomio jail.
So only stop inside Lobanis, only know that Narabla road look outside and register. So I will bring him service come through lol. So time only stop inside Lae, only got the right to register. Now only go out and no need to go down to NID office to register again.
Some babies who were born here at Pomio jail who are currently living with their mothers and the women inmates will also be registered tomorrow. Julie Badwe-Owa, National MTV News, Leh.
The Malahang Technical High School in Leh is on its way to becoming a technical secondary school. Despite challenges faced in funding and infrastructure, the school is working on renovating their old trade classrooms and building new infrastructure. Today, they celebrated the groundbreaking ceremony of 2 new buildings.
This is one of the new buildings that is being built in the Malahang Technical High School. This project is being funded by parents through support fees. Chairperson of the Parents and Teachers Association, Stephanie Amos, said parents have been supportive of projects in the school.
Support fee, school fee. Side projects na what I said school.
Today, the students and teachers witnessed the groundbreaking of 2 more projects, the Ginson Saonu and John Russell buildings. Moreover, Governor Ginson Saonu committed 500,000 kina towards the projects. He said helping such projects help achieve his policy of having 0 dropouts.
And the only way to do is to improve the existing vocational centers and to add schools like one that we are now witnessing here, and also look at private schools.
And the commitments that he have made to Malahang Technical High School will be strengthened through this initiative as we continue.
The Malahang Technical High School has 987 students. It is the only school in the province that offers a dual curriculum of both academic and trade courses. They are now slowly working on upgrading the school to becoming a technical secondary school. The 2 new buildings will cater for the grade 11s and 12s.
Nibla will come through the governor, the province, Moresby province, and by building 1 more classroom. Na kamane dole MP by John Russell, Honorable John Russell, and by building another classroom.
Lucy Kopana, National MTV News, Leh.
You're watching National MTV News. We go for another break. When we come back, we take a look at stories making headlines overseas. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas now as global anger grows over the murder of a Saudi journalist. Leaked security video literally shows a concerted cover-up. The day Jamal Khashoggi was killed in Istanbul, a man was seen walking out of the Saudi consulate, apparently wearing the reporter's clothes.
At first glance, this man could almost pass for Jamal Khashoggi, and that's the idea. These are the last known images of Khashoggi alive, moments before he entered the Saudi consulate. Take a look. Same clothes, same glasses and beard, similar age and physique, everything except the shoes. But a senior Turkish official tells CNN that the man on the left is a body double, one of 15 Saudi operatives sent to kill Khashoggi and then cover it up. His name is Mustafa al-Madani. Surveillance cameras capture him arriving at the consulate in a plaid shirt and jeans at 11:03 with an accomplice. 2 hours later, Khashoggi arrives. He was killed inside shortly afterwards.
While Khashoggi's fiancée waited in front of the consulate, we're told al-Madani came out through this back exit. Disturbingly, he appears to have been wearing the actual clothing of the murdered journalist. The intent, Turkish investigators say, was to perpetuate the lie that Jamal Khashoggi left the consulate unharmed.
The apparent double and his companion take a taxi to Sultanahmet Mosque. It's one of Istanbul's main tourist attractions and an easy place to get lost in a crowd. The men head to the bathroom. The accomplice carries a plastic bag. When they emerge, al-Madani is wearing his own clothes again.
And just like that, Jamal Khashoggi has disappeared forever, or so the Saudis would have had the world believe. Little did they know Turkish authorities would quickly uncover the cover-up.
From their next stop at a nearby restaurant, where al-Madani appears to have ditched his fake beard, to a dumpster, where the men finally dump the plastic bag. The senior official says investigators believe it likely contained Khashoggi's clothes. As they head back to their hotel, the pair appear visibly relaxed. Their mission is complete.
President Trump is ramping up threats to cut off aid to 3 Central American countries in response to an unfolding migrant crisis. He's criticized Guatemala, Honduras and El Salvador for failing to stop thousands of migrants heading to the U.S. border.
The president is now calling it a national emergency. A caravan of migrants traveling towards the U.S.
And you can see how many people are here, how many families just waiting for orders, waiting to see what they're going to do today.
The caravan's numbers have grown since it began a week ago, 500 miles away in Honduras. About 7,000 people now traveling north. Their shortest route, 1,500 miles to Brownsville, Texas. President Trump today tweeting, without any evidence, criminals and unknown Middle Easterners are mixed in.
Take your camera, go into the middle and search. You're going to find MS-13, you're going to find Middle